Measuring angles with a protractor is very similar to measuring segments with a ruler. When we look at the protractor, we're measuring angles in terms of degrees, okay? And the degrees goes from 0 to 180, but you notice those measurements are listed twice. So on this protractor right here, I see a 0 right here, and then on the outside, I see all these little dash marks that count all the way up to 180 over on this end, okay? And so when we look at each of those dash marks, see those dash marks as a degree, okay? And you notice there is a longer dash mark in there to mark like the halfway point. That's like the 15, the 25, the 35, okay? These slightly longer ones are the 5 marks, so we don't have to count all 10. But then we also see that same measurement on the inside of this thing, so on this inside crack. So it uses those same dash marks, but here's the 0, and then it counts around on the inside all the way to 180 on this side, okay? And so as we look at this thing, like, if I were to look at the inside track, that's the one that kind of confuses students sometimes. But if I was at this little dash mark right here before the 160, well, for the inside track, that's like a little dash mark right before the 20, okay? So if I was on the outside track, that would be a 161, all right, counting around on the outside. But on the inside track, that would be a 19. Okay. And the reason there's two of those is because basically, just like with our ruler, we line the ruler up the edge of the segment with 0 with the start of the ruler. Well, here we want to line one of those rays, one of those sides of the angle up with the 0 and then count around from there. Okay. And so the vertex, the corner of the angle, we want to put right here at this middle section, okay? And so we're almost measuring around in kind of an arc, in a circle type manner, okay? And so we put the center of the angle at the center of that circle, okay? And that's what a protractor is. It's half a circle drawn, all right? And so we put the angle at the center and we count around to see how many degrees, okay? For example, if I look at this particular one here, if I were to take my protractor, here we go. I'm going to bring it over here, and I just want to put that thing right at the center of this guy. Trying to get it as close to center as I can. This thing will only let me move it so much. Here, there we go. And so if I stick that thing right at the center of this guy, so now my angle's right at the center, well, because the 0 is lined up down here, so the edge of this guy's lined up with 0, so I'm using the inside track instead of the outside track, okay? If the side of the angle was over here on this side, then I would use the outside track, okay? So that first side has to start at 0. That's why I have the inside and the outside track. That's why I have two different sets of values on this thing. It just depends on where the angle starts. And so on this one, the angle starts at 0, so I'm counting using the inside track. And it counts this way. And it looks like it stops right around here. And when I look at the dash mark, it looks like the dash mark is the one right after the 70 here. Okay, so on the inside track, that translates into one dash right after the 110. Okay, and so we're using the same dash marks, but that 110 is right here, and the 120 is right here, and the 130 is right here. Okay, and so if I'm one dash past the 110, well, that would be 111 degrees, okay? And so this was angle, I'll call it angle O, because that's the vertex. So I would say I would say the measure, I put a little M here, so instead of saying, just like with lines, we could put the little M, or line segments, we just write it without the line segment. Here, there's no other way to determine that it's an angle, so I would just say the measurement of angle O is 111 degrees. Okay, and that's the symbol for degrees right there. It's like a little circle that's almost like an exponent. Okay.